Hi everyone, so I was requested by ILLO95 to do a review about the palettes that I got a while back later. I did 2 haul videos on those palettes, so those palettes are the 88 palette, and these are from the supplier Coastal Scents, but they don't have the brand name packaging on it, but it's like exactly the same. And the gel concealer palette, the 26 shadow palette, and the 78 shadow palette. Hold on. I always have trouble. And we got to be kidding. Okay, hold on. 78, yeah. 78 shadow palette. And this is how I'm going to review them. As you know that those palettes contain the same kind of eyeshadows. They might be in different colors, but they're practically the same kind of ingredients and stuff. So I'm going to review the palettes by the gel concealers, by eyeshadows, and by blushes, because those are the 3 things that those palettes have and that they differ in. So to start with, I'm going to start with the gel concealer palette, and here it is. Okay, so I would give this palette a 4 out of 5. The pros of this palette is that it's a gel concealer, so it does conceal your flaws really nicely. It covers up really well, so it's really good coverage. It comes in a variety of colors, as you can see. This is my primary color, and you can see that I've used a lot of it. And these are my, if I get a little tan, I'm going to use a little bit this. If I get a little like light, stuff like that. So, and you can also, for example, if you have pimples and stuff, then you can cover up the redness with a lighter shade and then put on your darker shade, so to match your skin color. So you can mix and match the concealers, and that's why it's a really good palette actually. Good coverage and good match. However, the cons of this palette is that it does actually dry up. I don't leave it open. Okay, so I don't leave it open. It's always like this, closed when I don't use it. But I've started to notice that it does dry up a little bit. So as you can see, this is a really like shiny gel, blah blah blah. Here it's a little dry, honestly, a little dry, and when it starts to dry up, it's harder to apply. So that's a con. About its lasting effect, it lasts about like 6 or 7 hours, so no more than that. So its lasting effect is medium, but it does last. I've had some concealers that actually, 1 or 2 hours in, it's basically gone. So at least this gel concealer does last a little longer. Also, about its cakiness, when you apply the gel concealer, it actually doesn't stay as a gel. I know it's kind of weird, but I hate it how like some concealers like look a little wet and shiny. It looks like you have oil in those areas where you have pimples. So bad. But these concealers, when you add them to your face, it actually turns into a kind of powdery form. Like it looks like a little powdery on your face, which I actually like. It doesn't cake up on your face, I don't think. Well, I've used it for like a few months, so no, it doesn't cake up. For me, it doesn't cake up. So that's why I give it a 4 or 5. Cons would be it gets a little dry, and it also doesn't last too long. Pros would be comes in a variety of colors. You have all the colors you actually need, and more. And also, it's really good coverage. And you can mix and match your concealers as well. So good on that. 4 out of 5. Eyeshadows from the 88 palette, the 26 palette, and the 78 palette. I'm just going to show you the 26 palette. Okay, and the eyeshadows are definitely a 5 out of 5. These are the eyeshadows. These are the colors I use every day. This one. I love this one. I like the smoky metallic, like blackish brownish looks that I use every day. So that's the one I use every day. And why these eyeshadows are 5 out of 5 is that they're extremely pigmented. Look. One swipe and it gives you that color, and It's so inexpensive for that kind of color payoff. And also, it's a really smooth, powdery stuff. It stays on for a really long time. Granted, you have, of course, a primer, as all eyeshadows must have. I just double up on my liquid foundation for that. I don't need an eye primer. And it lasts just as long. And so eyeshadows in both the 88, 78, and 26 eyeshadow palette are definitely 5 out of 5s. And of course, I know if you tried Coastal Scents before, you would come to that same conclusion. On the other hand, the blushes were disappointing for me. Whoops, the blushes were disappointing for me. There are blushes also in the 78 palette, but the blushes were disappointing for me because not only do they not match my skin tone, they're really different from my skin tone. I don't know if it would match many other people's skin tone. For example, this really plum color, which is exactly the same color as this eyeshadow color. It's situated right next to each other. But these blushes were, I thought, quite grainy, honestly, and it didn't blend well into my skin, which is really important because you're supposed to apply your blushes with a light hand because these are extremely pigmented, and because they didn't blend with my skin, I didn't know how to make it look natural. So I didn't think these blushes looked very natural at all, and that's probably why I'm spending so much money on Everyday Minerals blushes, because I love them so much. But these were disappointing. The colors from the 78 palette, I'm just going to show you, were more suitable for my skin tone. However, as the 26 eyeshadow palette, I think these would be better off as eyeshadows. They weren't as, I don't know, they're just not as blendable, and you can't really make it look as natural on your skin. Personally, in my opinion. I don't know if you've managed to do that, but good on you if you have. Also, that I would like the structure of these palettes, like the casing. I would like if, they had this thing at the back where it could stand, because it's really hard. You might as well not use the mirror because you have to hold them up or they just flop down. Why is there a mirror if you can't use it, right? So then they just flop down like that. So it'd be better if they had something propped up like that so you can actually look at yourself while you do your eyes. I think that's a good suggestion for them, because there's really no use for the mirror if you can't see yourself in it. So that's my review of the palettes, 78, 88, 28, and the gel concealer palette, which has 10 gel concealers in it. Overall, a summary, gel concealer is definitely a 4 out of 5, good coverage, but doesn't last very long. 88 shadow palettes, all the eyeshadows in these palettes, 5 out of 5, very pigmented, stays for a really long time, and beautiful colors. And the blushes, on the other hand, were disappointing for me. I would rate it as a 3 out of 5. Couldn't make it natural. So, hope you like this review, and see you guys later. Bye.